I'm not a racist, preach to teach the art. You still they never had this. Number one, them wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse, without clues. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
Lynn is in North Carolina. You're on with Dr. Robin L. Smith. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Karen? Nice
Good.
to talk to you again. It's been a long time. I have a not a beef, but a gripe. I am a black male who's also an atheist. I'm also I want to say a fundamental atheist because unless you can prove to me there's a God that's changing things or all powerful or omnipotent, I kind of shy away from it.
I love atheists, by the way. Yeah, I love that I think atheism is a spiritual path, not a religious path, but a spiritual path. So I don't know what it means to you, but when people tell me they're atheists, I'm like, yay, good for you, because you have something
thought about something
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that gets me is the same God that Christians are praying to, the opposition is praying to. So I remember when back in 2016, when Trump was running for office, I remember a Christian praying that Trump, he was literally on Facebook Live praying that Trump becomes president, and he did. While the opposition of that was praying that Trump would not be president. So my question is right now.
Let me ask you, because I'm just curious. I don't think God calls like baseball games and elections. My God's not involved in the wins and losses of man. It's like, so, all of the hands laying and the prayers over. I'm just like, it's performance. Like, that's how I see it. And as I said before the break, I boil it down to love. And love is patient, it's kind, it's not self-serving, it doesn't envy, it doesn't like that. Like, and those things I work on because I have all of those things. So I'm not always loving. But yeah, I get it, and I get why so many people reject God at this point. And because God doesn't feel to the point that, we were just talking about, that love is in the midst of everything that we're doing. But Lynn, finish what you called for, so that Dr. Rob and I can chop it up.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm rejecting the God. I'm just saying
I'm saying
proof.
We're good with you being needing proof. Like, that's fine. Is that why you called?
No, what I called for is I'm getting this divide, and there was a gentleman that was talking about vibes. I love Urban View, but now we're getting closer to this election. It feels like the vibe is changing. And I hate it because I was listening to Louise Daniels today, and I love her. There was a gentleman that came on that was talking about, he was a Trump supporter. He was a Trump supporter in sheepskin. But she ran down some topics that, if you would listen to those topics and listen to why Trump was a racist or is a racist, they need to keep hammering those things. They need to keep telling people about the opposition and not say, no, I'm not going to feed into it. But, that's just my point. And that's
I still don't. How did the vibe change? Because I've been here, so I don't think I've changed my vibe. What's changed?
It just feels like they're not. It just feels like we're losing our enthusiasm for Vice President Kamala Harris.
No, I think I can only speak for myself. It has been an exhausting. If you remember, like, it was Biden, and let me tell you how hard it was every day to remind people that we're not voting for a person, but for ideals and for the ability to be able to protest and move about the world and have rights and freedoms. And Biden and his body, great. If he were barely breathing, I was going to vote for him, but it was hard fighting. And then October 7th happened. And I don't know if anybody has done a thing like this, where you literally are pouring out your soul every single day. And I do it on Saturdays as well, and some Sundays, right? And then twice on Monday, because I'm in class. I'm in office hours on Monday as well. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to be in community, having to talk and convince people and then fight with folk coming in fighting with no knowledge of anything and just want to be a contrarian, and it's exhausting. So we're at the finish line. I can't speak for anybody else, but mama is tired. Most days I contemplate not coming in, even though I get so much from being here once I'm here. I'm thinking maybe it's time to retire. There's conversations that I have in my head, because what's the value for me if I'm fighting for something that you're not fighting for? Every time some knuckle dragger drags their ass in here with some nonsense, with no knowledge of anything, it's exhausting to fight for people's liberation. I'm free. Let me just say that with my full chest. I am good. So if I got to argue with people to get across the finish line so that y'all could be good, and I'm arguing, yeah, it's tiring. So what you're hearing may be frustration. Lynn, God bless you. You don't have to do this, but yeah, I want to be happy. But it requires, a lot to have to navigate the rampant ignorance that has been the due north, the default in this country. It is really sad.
And I think, Karen, you are actually, at least how I hear it and how I heard what Lynn said, I think you're actually holding very sacredly his exhaustion. I mean, he's talking about feeling a difference in the vibe and that there isn't as much enthusiasm. And so while that doesn't apply to you, I think you are sharing with him what it is like for someone who is doing this all the time, meaning you, to keep hope and joy alive for people who are weary like Lynn. And so I feel like actually maybe that was a gift, what you just shared, even for him to hear.
Well, hell for myself, keeping.
Yes, it is hell for you.
I mean, Dr. Robin, and you know this intimately. This is not a job for me. I make way more money not doing this. I promise you.
Right.
It's not a job. So it's, you have to calculate. You have to count the costs. And there is frustration when you're dragging folk. And not all, but if I got to drag one heavy person across a finish line and they're not gonna lift a leg and they are fully able-bodied, it becomes a lot, right? And to even
when people are choosing ignorance, when they're choosing ignorance, yeah.
I'm sorry, Lynn just knocked me off my square, and so I apologize.
Well, I'm not sure. No. I think Lynn helped you. Yeah, no. I feel like this is a gift because there are a lot of people out there, Professor Hunter, honestly, who are holding on to every word that you say. And if all they hear is the robust, strong you, they have no place to identify when they are weary, when they are tired, when they are struggling with all the negativity. And so I feel like you're showing, yes, you're tired and you show up. Both things can be true and are true.
And I'm concerned. I'm also very concerned. The climate in this country is very, very dangerous.
Yes, it is.
A very dangerous time. And I also need to know how to navigate that on these airwaves and not put people in a sense of fear, but I need us to be vigilant. It's, it's like a tightrope, you gotta be, have your head on a swivel. You gotta pay attention at the same time. Don't be scared.
Yes.
It is. Yeah, it's a tightrope.
Yes, it is. And articulating it the way you are doing right now, I just feel that people just took a deep breath and said, okay, right, it's both. It's a tightrope. So I am stressed and I have hope. I'm terrified and I believe that things can change. it's important for someone to hear you and me, because I too can say amen and yes and amen and ashe to everything you just said. For me, I was driving down the street last night. It was late. And I went through a neighborhood, and all of the signs in this one neighborhood were Trump Vance signs. I felt my body tighten. I felt less safe in this particular, physically less safe. My blood pressure, I mean, I felt this, and I wanted to share this because I knew I was going to be with you today, and I wanted people to hear this. And then I crossed over into a different neighborhood, and there were lots of Harris Waltz signs, and I could feel my blood pressure and my body relaxing. So part of this is, what is it that we all can do, back to tending our gardens and our minds and what's coming in us, what we're allowing to come in us, that we are careful about our diet.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't mean food. I mean all of what we're taught. Hate is exhausting, and it's toxic, and it makes us sick.
And I think also, Lynn being an atheist, which is, a choice, you got to prove, you ain't got to prove nothing to me. I live every day in the magic, in the impossible. So I know for me, that's another thing that I get to lean on, not my own understanding, right? So I get to lean on something beyond myself. And I also, that's why you got to do that thing, stay in the word, whether you believe it or not. The mantras, whether it's Buddhism, saying that thing that y'all don't even know what it means, but y'all say it, it recenters and recalibrates your spirit, yes, to continue. So I can't do it right now because we're live, but yes, all of that. Well, I'm actually throwing out scripture in real time. Dr. Robin is here. Let's go to a break. When we come back, and thank you, Lynn, for just thank you.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.